Colonel Dave Butler, an Army spokesman, said the potential savings over 5 years would be nearly $40 billion.
All right.
Yeah. Russell says, I just want more field artillery. U.S. officials said that as many as 40 general officer slots could be cut as a result of the restructuring. They spoke on the condition of anonymity, of course, to discuss personal issues. The changes come as the Pentagon is under pressure to slash spending and personnel as part of a broader federal government cuts pushed by President Donald Trump's administration and ally Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. In the memo, Secretary of Defense said the Army must eliminate wasteful spending, prioritize improvements to air and missile defense, long-range fires, cyber electronic warfare, and counter space capabilities. Counter space? How can you counter space? It's kind of out there. Sorry, I'm just going on the script that I was reading from a news outlet. Specifically, he said the Army must merge Army Futures Command and Training and Doctrine Command into one entity and merge Forces Command, Army North and Army South into a single headquarters focused on Homeland Defense and partnership with our Western Hemisphere allies. Oh, that's a bingo! Check this out.
I've never created one myself.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how this is going to roll out. I am curious. I know that several commands were created due to the workload of other commands
I am live,
being lifted off, and that's why we have
my gaming channel, which has a
Africa.
total of 7 subs.
Because back in the day, Africa used to be a split command between CENTCOM and EUCOM, Central Command, and European Command. And then someone's like, you know what? There's a lot of shit's happening in the African continent. There's a lot of shit people don't talk about. What are you doing in Europe? Because the headquarters is in Stuttgart, Europe. Why do you want to talk about this in Africa when you've never been? You're just doing that. Why don't we just have everybody? You know, there's some food fights going back and forth between CENTCOM because CENTCOM had the Horn of Africa and split it down on the side, and then of course the EUCOM. It was a mess. So AFRICOM was created. That's why. So if you're going to merge Army Futures Command and Training and Doctrine Command, who's going to handle all the projects from Army Futures Command? TRADOC? You're actually, I think, probably going to end up creating more generals or creating more staffs. How are you going to be lean? Well, I take that back. You're going to be more leaner, right? You're going to move everybody who is in those headquarters down to the line units. So what's going to happen to all those projects from Futures Command? You're going to call it the Army Training and Doctrine Futures Command, or it's just going to be still TRADOC? Forces Command in R North and R South. Army North and Army South into a single. That's going to be interesting as well. Kind of want to see how that's going to happen. Tim Kennedy. How they going to do it? Tim Kennedy, is that what you're saying? We have to pay for more important things like a golf course and a massive parade. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. Operation Cupcake, where the soldiers who are at the Pentagon would be going on steps of Congress or going through the halls of Congress to hand out cupcakes. That's quite a tasking. Are you going to see a USACOM? You know, here's the thing. I'll say it. I think USSOCOM needs some cuts. But in other places. There are cutting capabilities in USSOCOM that don't need to be cut, but adding more. Does that make sense? To go back on the R North. Northcom. I kind of want to see how are they going to handle disaster response, humanitarian assistance on our homeland. How's that going to work? In addition, the Secretary of Defense has called for the Army to consolidate units to include the Joint Munitions Command and Sustainment Command. I like shut the fuck up cakes. That's pretty good. I like that. Officials said that while the mergers will result in fewer staff positions, there won't be a decrease in the Army's overall size. Instead, soldiers would be shifted to other posts. Right. So when you merge Army Futures Command and TRADOC, you're going to be like, all these projects that Futures Command had on there that was, I don't know, probably innovative to the battle, to the soldier and the battlefield. So again, I'm just curious to see how this plays out. On the chopping block would be legacy weapons and equipment programs such as the Humvee. I think most of the Humvees have been pulled out for the JLTVs, right? Most of them's been, unless they're like 1151s, like legacy vehicles. Along with a number of armor and aviation units across the active duty forces, National Guard and Reserve. The units were not identified. The key issue will be Congress. For years, lawmakers have rejected Army and Pentagon efforts to kill a whole range of programs. And I don't know why. It's because some of them are in their districts. There's going to be jobs waiting for somebody to come out of the woodwork to say, it's usually Alabama, like Tuberville, whatever the guy's name is, Senator Tuberville. Oh, I think that this should be all right. Or Mitch McConnell. Oh, this is wrong. Defense Department and service leaders learned long ago to spread headquarters, depots, troops installations across the country to maximize congressional support, but those efforts are stymied later to chopping programs. So it's unclear whether the House and the Senate will allow any of these cuts or simply add money back to the budget of excellence. There you go. Now, to go back about them cupcakes, those massive parade. Here's the thing, and I always tell everybody who freaks out about Trump, the president, POTUS, and this is my only political thing. His birthday just happens to fall on the Army's birthday. There you go. 250 years. 250 years, right? The establishment of our country, right? All that stuff, it just so happens to have fallen on this administration's lap, and everyone's throwing fucking hate because you know for a fact, had this happened during the past administration, or Trump 1.0, or the Obama administration, there would be so much fucking dog and pony for the 250th, it'd be unreal. So everyone could miss me with all that bullshit. Yeah, this is going to be a big birth. It was going to happen anyways. It just so happened to be under this administration. So it's kind of funny. Everyone being upset. Again, I'm kind of using the analogy of the motorcycle and the Tesla. If you feel like you need to mow down a motorcycle because you feel like it cut you off, that's the kind of category I put you on about some of the stuff. Again, this stuff may or may not happen. Again, it's got to be up to Congress. And then we will definitely see what goes on from there. I'm excited. Again, I kind of want to see what happens. The A-10 being cut. I know, man. I know. The A-10. Bert life. Yep. That's, oh well. Again, we're just going to have to see what happens. A lot of the doctrine that we're talking about